You might as well be hanged for a sheep as for a lamb. Definition said to mean that because the punishment for a bad action and even worse one will be the same. We have no reason not to do a worse one. Example, the accused decided that he might as well be hanged for a sheep as for a lamb and told the whole truth in the court. Hang your head. Definition to be ashamed or unhappy. Example, after receiving his poor result, the student hung his head in disappointment. Hang in there. Definition said as a way of telling someone to not give up despite difficulties. Example, the teacher encouraged the class to hang in there until the examination period was over. Something hangs in the balance. Definition the result of a situation has not yet been decided yet. Example, the future of the project hangs the balance while the committee considers its decision. Something hangs over your head. Definition something makes you unable to relax or enjoy yourself. Example, the threat of punishments hung over his head throughout the investigation. Set the agenda. Definition to decide what subject other people should discuss and deal with. Example, at the first meeting, the chairperson set the agenda for the entire semester. Up, down your alley. Definition to be the type of thing that you are interested in or that you enjoy doing. Example, classical music is not down his alley, so he prefers modern songs. Can't hear yourself think. Definition if you cannot hear yourself think, you cannot give your attention to anything because there is so much noise. Example, the classroom was so noisy that I couldn't hear myself think. Do you hear? Definition: a way of emphasizing that you want people to give their attention to what you are saying. Example: the principal says, "Do you hear?" This rule applies to everyone. Here, tell of definition. If you hear tell of something, someone tells you about it. Example: have you heard tell of a new education reforms? Here, wedding bells. Definition: to think that someone is going to get married. Example: when they started planning together, their friends began to hear wedding bells. Here. Definition: said to strongly agree with what someone else has just said. Example: when the speaker finished, the audience shouted, "Hear, hear," in approval. I must be hearing things. Definition: said when you cannot believe something because it is so unlikely. Example: with all the stress, I must be hearing things. Not hear the end, last of something. Definition: to be told repeatedly about something. Example: if you complain again, you will not hear the end of it from your parents. Will never hear the end of it. Definition: if you say you will never hear of end of it, you mean that someone is repeatedly going to speak proudly, disapprovingly about something. Example: if he breaks another rules, he won't hear the end of it. Won't hear a word said against someone, something. Definition: if you won't hear a word said against someone or something, you refuse to believe anything bad about him, her, or it. Example: he won't hear a word against her hometown. You couldn't have heard a pin drop. Definition: something that you say in order to describe a situation where there was complete silence, especially because people were very interested or very surprised by what was happening. Example: during the announcement, you could have heard a pin drop in the hall. never hear the end of it. Definition: to have to listen for a long time, to embracing or annoying talk. Example: if you miss the deadline, you will never hear the end of at work. In the heat of the moment. Definition: if you say or do something in the heat of moment, you say or do it without thinking because you are very angry or excited. Example: he spoke harshly in the heat of the moment and later apologized. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Definition: used as a way to tell someone that they should either stop complaining about a difficult or unpleasant activity or stop doing it. Example: if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen is advice often given to leaders. Put the heat on someone. Definition: to try to persuade or force someone to do something. Example: the journalist put the heat on officials by asking difficult questions. Take the heat off someone. Definition: if someone or something takes the heat of you, he, she, or it reduces the amount of criticisms you have to deal with. Example: the apology helps take the heat off the company. The heat is on. Definition: if you say the heat is on, you mean that the time of great activity and or pressure has begun. Example: as the exam date approached, the heat was on for the final year's students. The heat of battle. Definition: the most extreme or exciting stage of an activity. Example: commanders must think clearly even the heat of battle. Hedge your bets. Definition: to protect yourself against loss by supporting more than one possible result or both sides in a competition. Example: wise students hedge their bets by applying to several universities. Give lend. someone a helping hand. Definition: to help someone. Example: she gave a helping hand without expecting anything in return. God helped someone. Definition: used to give a verse to a statement of the dangers or seriousness of a situation or action. Example: God help anyone who ignores safety regulation in that factory. It can't be helped. Definition: used to say that an unpleasant or painful situation or an unwanted duty cannot be avoided and must be accepted. Example: the mistake was serious, but it can't be helped now. So help me, God. Definition: used to make a promise in a very formal and serious way. Example: he promised to repay the money, so help me God. There's no help for it. Definition: there is no other choice in this situation. Example: the road was closed and there was no help for it but to turn back. In next tutorial, I will bring you idioms English language with meaning lessons. Please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icons to get latest videos notification and share my video among your friends. See you in future videos.